That was fun. Like, you know, I was not comfortable to do that. It actually is. Yes.
All meeting order.
Okay, here, Amanda, here, Steve,
Here.
here, Debbie's here.
Public comment on agenda items. See anything on the agenda they want to talk about? Not, we'll move on. Approval of the agenda. I'd like to add 2 items to it. It would be item 14G with regards to the address signs. Too bad is made a proposal for a map that would help us to talk about it at that time. And then item 15C, board review training.
Can I ask why we don't have litigation on anymore? Litigation on the agenda anymore, did all of us settle?
Generally involved, we don't have any litigation going on.
So those other 2 were settled, and this one
Yeah.
did not.
That's all been said.
Okay.
So any other additions to the agenda?
Oh, I just noticed 2025 at the top. Uh-oh. And I even had a computer that didn't catch that. So, there you
That time of the year.
go.
Any other corrections or additions to the agenda? No. Not, we have a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Support. Motion and support. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Tonight we have a guest speaker, Paul Geyer, the county emergency manager.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Again, my name is Paul Geyer. I'm the Emergency Management Coordinator for Delta County. It's my understanding Supervisor Nelson contacted me, and at your last meeting, you had some questions about possibly the differences between a shelter and a warming and or cooling center. So I came to talk a little bit about those. It's kind of appropriate for today's weather that we have out. In fact, the state of Michigan stood up a bunch of warming centers today with some different power outages. And yesterday, including in Chippewa County, where they had a brief outage that they thought was going to go on for more than a couple of days. So we try to distinguish between shelters, which are usually run by our partner, the American Red Cross, and centers. When we talk about shelters, we're referring to a place that offers a possibility for a shower, an overnight stay, usually food. Those are the 3 main components of a shelter. If we were to stand up a shelter, usually those are done when there is a significant fire that destroys maybe a multi-family residential unit, like an apartment building, something like that, or in the case of a tornado that wipes out several residences, we might set up a shelter. When we talk about the warming and or cooling centers, we're talking about a place where people can come during an extended power outage where they can get warm, for one. Maybe have the availability of bathrooms at those locations. And then also in today's digital world, we talk about possibly charging cell phones, charging computers, maybe having Wi-Fi connectivity where they can keep track of power company updates or things like that. So that's really what we're referring to when we talk about a center. Since I took this position in 2019, I've been trying to encourage our townships and some other organizations to develop their generator capacity or their generator ability to where they have power in the case of an extended outage and be able to offer those types of services. Right now, the only 3 centers that I really have set up besides some of the schools and besides some of the municipal facilities are this facility that has now the generator capacity. Ensign Township also has generator capacity and have offered to be a warming center. And the Escanaba Civic Center is also one of our warming centers. We really haven't gotten the need of cooling centers like some places downstate do, but we do have the possibility in the winter here of extended power outages. The garden power outage that we had that last year, the year before, I think, we utilized, well, we were prepared to set up a couple of warming centers. Most of the UP population though is a pretty robust group. A lot of us have our own generators that we use for our houses, but we still have a significant part of the population that might need a warming center if we have an extended outage. Thankfully to this cold spell, there's some winds associated with wind chill, but we don't have heavy wet snow that's taking down power lines and taking out some of our substations. Everybody remembers, I think, the extended outage that the city of Escanaba had many years ago. I don't know if there was any warming centers set up at that time, but they were doing rolling blackouts throughout the community to try to get people some power for a partial period of time and then, you know, kick them off and get another section of town up and running. So our electrical grid is facing more challenges as we get more, you know, items that we want to power and whatnot. So I appreciate the township actively seeking the grant that they did to help pay for the generator. I don't know how much was covered, but generator grants are harder and harder to come by. So if we can have more facilities in the area that have that backup power, it certainly helps my efforts when I try to, you know, coordinate the activities and list some of these warming centers on the state critical incident management system. One of the things that I need to know of that I relay to the state is where is it located? What services do you provide? And that means you're a warming center. You're able to provide heat in a power outage. Can you provide power to charge electronics? Do you have bathroom facilities? Are pets welcome? When we set up a shelter, the American Red Cross is required to abide by the Americans with Disabilities Act. It requires that service animals are able to enter those shelters. We certainly don't want to try to keep pets away, but there's obviously only so much you can do in a warming center. And with the space you have to be able to accommodate, but those are a lot of the things that I need to know. Who's the contact person for the warming center? And what are the hours? Obviously a center is not designed to be a 24/7 shelter. A center may have the hours between 8 and 4, or you might have some evening hours between 3 and 11. Those are the things that I need to know to be able to post that. And also give to our 211 center. Our 211 center is a central location that the emergency managers coordinate with to provide all that information so that we can put out to the public, call 211 if you want information on where those local centers might be, instead of getting our 911 center overrun with general calls for information and not emergencies. So Were there any other specific questions I could ask? Or, I mean, I could answer, I can ask a lot of questions.
Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do you have like a plan already that we could maybe post on our website ahead of time, so people know ahead of time before the lights go out, if this happens? Call this number, or, you know, how they can contact us, so we're not doing it. One of the things that was said last time when we had this was that they didn't know how to, and it was even open. Oh, here you're in your rural areas, they don't have self-service, they don't have internet off their phone, like they do other places.
Yeah, I looked at, there was an article written, to a letter to the editor in the Daily Press of a resident that was upset that during that last big outage, and I'll take the blame for that we did not put an emergency message out either through the emergency alert system or the wireless emergency alert system, which can target certain cell phone areas. The reason I didn't is, I guess, and what I've explained at other meetings is that we didn't have any requests coming into our 911 center. In hindsight, I think I would put a message out and provide that information to say, contact 211 and or just basic information. The Ford River Township Hall is available from these hours. The Ensign Township Hall is available from those hours. So I guess we live and learn. You know, in hindsight, I guess I would make that notification since it was a prolonged outage. I do have a plan in the sense that that information that I just asked for from, say, the townships relate to me goes to our 211 center. And that is our, I don't want to say it's our primary spot for that information, because we tend to post that with the local radio stations and everything too. But I guess in the actual emergency time, if they were to contact our 911 center, they would say, for that information, please call 211. So if I have a general sense of, I may not know the exact hours because that depends on staffing. I don't have the staff to provide, you know, to be here at the center. But if we know those hours, we know the general contact, whether it's your cell phone or a number here for whoever might be working, I can put that information out and get that to who needs to relay it, whether it's our 911 center or the 211 center.
Do you have anything like on your website that says, in the event of this happening, call 211, that people know ahead of time before it happens?
I don't have anything currently out there, no. That really comes in on a press release when the incident occurs, and then our dispatch center is always aware of that they can have people call 211 for that further information. The reason I mentioned that is our 211 director, our local 211 director, just put out an email this last week in anticipation of this upcoming weather, where they want the name of the shelter, the location, operating hours, the services provided, which is just that basic. Do you have food there? Do you have water there? You could, but you don't have to by any means. Are pets welcome? Is there disability access? Is there a ramp at the location and the contact person and phone number? A lot of times some bigger stores step up in some of the prolonged outages too, like Meijer or Walmart. They'll open up more, you know, as a place of refuge rather than a business trying to sell you something, so.
What hours would you recommend we set?
Well, I know the Civic Center they were willing to offer, you know, obviously the daytime hours when they have staff there. Sometimes it's those later in the evening hours. I wouldn't, in opening a center, I wouldn't say there has to be any overnight hours. You know, people have somewhat of a responsibility to figure that out prior to an event too on their own. But certainly if you can offer hours during the day and into the early evening, that is very beneficial. Most people, at least in the time that I've been in this position, and I've been in the county for the last 30 years, we haven't had a whole lot of people take those opportunities up. Most of them have either relatives in the area or, a lot of people have gone to hotels that do have power. But occasionally there is a handful of people that need that center just to be able as a temporary refuge where they can come in and charge devices and, get warm. I know that Marquette, just this last week, Hope at the Inn, it's not, what am I calling it wrong? Their facility that they have, I believe it's Hope at the Inn. They were overcrowded. They had all of their positions filled and they needed about 20 additional positions. So the Salvation Army up in Marquette was going to offer their facility as a warming center during this outage or during this weather that we're having right now. So there's becoming more and more of a need, I think. So the fact that Ford River, I maybe stepping up is the wrong word, but thought of that with their generator capability here and offering it up as a warming center is a great service. Really is. Any
Just a
other?
little bit of work to formalize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing, to try to figure out, well, if something does happen, who can you have here? Cause you can't just let anybody in and have a unfettered access. I mean, you wanna be able to provide the service, but you have to be able to staff it with some people. And a lot of times, there's a lot going on when things are happening like that. You might have other emergencies taking place that tie up the county or the township's resources too.
So we don't have to worry about like beds or
No.
anything like that.
No.
This would be just basically come in, sit around for a while, warm up. We do have facilities that can charge their
Yep.
devices.
Yeah, I've seen some power in here, as long as your generator powers those things, there's no requirement. It's because the township is stepping up and offering this, that it's, there's no requirement for certain hours. There's no requirement for certain services, other than if you advertise yourself as a warming center, you should be able to provide heat. And be able to have a refuge where they can do that. If you use the term shelter, there have been communities that have gotten in trouble with that, and I don't wanna say legally in trouble, but they've had people show up and expect that they are gonna be housed, that they're gonna have shower facilities, that they're gonna be fed. You're not offering that. You're just offering a place where people can warm up, and or if you have air conditioning in the summer and we have terrible weather, terrible heat, that they could cool off. So. Any other questions I can answer? Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Any other questions for him? Not approval of the minutes, board regular meeting minutes of December 9th, 2024. Motion to approve, your support.
We both motions, so one of them will have to support.
I'll support, I'll
Okay.
motion.
The motion and support, any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. It's approved. Consent agenda items, item 1, the assessor's report. We have item B, fire report. Item C, water system report. And item D, water billing register. Payment of bills.
Just wanted to say on the transactions report, you see I have a bunch of voided checks. Some reason the payroll dated 2024 and I couldn't change it because the tax rates had changed. So I had to void it all. Just wanted you to know that.
Item F, financial report.
Looks like we get paid interest quarterly, right, Amanda?
Yes, sir.
We get a monthly statement, but we get just credited once a quarter.
That's right.
Okay, I
Yeah.
didn't think my employer was that generous.
And wish, right? But yeah, it's quarterly.
Okay.
And if it was a generous, maybe you breaks.
All right, have you looked into, doing anything other than just the deposit accounts? I know we have one CD out there, or you,
No, I want to talk to you about that. If you'd be open to it.
yeah, why don't?
Yeah, I was letting elections get over with and now we have,
Yeah, it's all funds at First Bank, but you could do some different things within the bank to get a
Yeah.
better return. What I would probably do is have somebody else on my team reach out to you. and
sure,
Talk to you about.
Yeah,
it,
that'd be
just so there's separation.
Yep.
But, yeah, I can have somebody reach out and kind of run through some options that would give us a little better yield. I know they turned up the interest on the accounts a while back, but, I think you can still do.
yeah, no, I'd love to. And you don't have to do the work. If you give me a name, I can reach out, whatever you want to do.
Okay, I'll have to, think about who the best person might be. I'll shoot you an email.
Sure.
Maybe copy you and somebody else just to make the
Yep.
introduction.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
Another discussion on consent agenda items? Not. Approval of consent agenda items,
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
motion and support. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Approved. Communications, one is the planning commission meeting minutes of December 4th, 2024.
I think they're from December 4th. They're dated the 2nd, and I think that's in there.
I will have it corrected. I'll make a motion at the next meeting to have that date.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Jean.
I'll make a motion at the next meeting to have that date corrected. It was the
Okay.
4th
Okay.
of 2024.
Right.
Damn dates, I tell you.
Hey, just a quick question, Jay. What's the, discussion about the Right to Farm Act? Does that pertain to anything? Do we need to?
No. Sarah brought that up, one of our commissioners or one of our members. She had talked to somebody, she was researching with the ordinances and I talked to somebody about it and she was gonna reach out to somebody to see what all involved. And, we haven't, she wasn't at the last meeting, so we haven't really, but she's gonna set up some kind of a Zoom meeting with this person
Okay.
to see what all it entails.
It doesn't pertain to anything that we have currently.
No, not that I'm aware of, no. It has to do with us going over the ordinances and redoing, looking at the ordinances and going over them, and that was just something that she had brought to the table. Whenever we, doing research. Yeah. No, it's nothing right now, we haven't even, she was gonna, like I said, set up a Zoom with the guy.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Planning commission annual report for 2024.
If you notice, Rick did take the appointment, he is on the planning commission again, so he did read out. Oh, yeah, that's right. He told him in before we did it.
Okay,
He did say he would do it, so.
yeah, it's good to know he's willing after we. vote.
Yeah, he said, "Go on, yeah."
Zoning administrator's report. We'll move on to fire department and report for 2024. Comments on any of the communications? Now we'll move on to fire department update.
All right.
Or, yeah, updates for-
The embezzlement situation, we'll start with that, nothing really new, I think. After the last meeting was when we had, Steven and myself, with the prosecutor. They basically just wanted to know what our thoughts were on. As far as if we're more interested in seeing him punished, or if we're more interested in getting the money back, and kind of see where we sat on that. So that they could kind of gear their, offers and stuff like that, or plea arrangements and stuff, but I haven't heard anything. I touched base with them. End of last week, and asked if there's any court dates set or anything yet, and I got nothing set right now, so. They haven't contacted me or Steve after our meeting at all, as far as I know. I haven't been contacted.
I haven't.
So basically, they said is what they try to do, because we kind of told them that. You know, we would really like to get the money back. I mean, that's, you know, and then obviously there should still be some kind of a, you know, punishment and stuff, but you know, we're really, you know, like to get the money back. So they said that what they do a lot of times in most situations is they front load the plea agreement to try to get them to basically pay the money back, rather than, you know, it makes a better deal or whatever, they pay it back by certain dates or whatever, but. Like I say, as far as I know, I don't know if they've even offered him the plea yet, or if there's been any communications with that, but, when I checked, I think it was Thursday last week, there was no court dates or anything. Set pending at this time yet, so not really much to report there.
Who's the defendant's legal counsel?
What's that?
Who's the defendant's legal counsel?
I'm not, because I know at his original arraignment, he said he couldn't afford one, so they gave him a phone number to contact. Right at the arraignment, they told him he had to contact his phone number by a certain time that same day, and that they would get set up with an attorney, but I haven't heard who his attorney's at. So, so that's the update on that. Unit 3, our grass fire truck is, well, it was in the shop, we got it back this afternoon. We were coming back from an accident call the other day. It was, had a check engine service light come on. And it was really, really misfiring and stuff, so we brought it in. I guess it ended up being, what I heard today, it would end up being just a spark plug on the number 8 cylinder, which I don't know why that would go bad with only like 2,000 miles on the truck, but, I haven't seen, I don't know if they charged us for it or if they covered it since there are so few miles on it. I haven't seen the bill come through or anything on it yet, so like I said, we just got that back this afternoon, so as soon as I get that, I'll let the board, I'll get that turned in and stuff, if there is a bill on it or. We did get the DNR VFC grant again that I had applied for, the 50/50 match grant. I put in for some gear, internal gear. So basically with that grant, we spend, $10,000 and we get $4,999 back. So the maximum we can get, you know, on the grant is $4,999, but you gotta spend that amount to get that amount back, so. Or you have to spend that amount out as well in addition to it, so basically, like I said, you gotta spend 10,000 to get $4,999 back. Same as it's been pretty much, we've gotten it pretty much every year for the last quite a few years, so. So as soon as I get that signed copy back, Steve signed, the grant, so I signed it, sent it back in, and then they have to countersign it and send it back to us, and then we can start the process of getting bids for the gear, and then we can place the order and get everything done, so. It probably will end up falling into, you know, it'll be probably a couple of months before we get that, but we have to finalize it by, I believe, end of August. Or
So it'll basically be next year's budget that'll
paid.
Yeah, more than likely, unless we get it back right away and we get, but we have to go through, we have to send out, basically like a spec sheet or a bid thing, what we're gonna buy with it, and then we have to get at least, cause it's over $2,500 grant from them, they require that we get, so many, you have to basically get at least 3, bids or quotes or whatever like that over the year, and then, when I submit all of our canceled checks or clear checks and everything like that, I have to submit that, and I have to submit proof that we sent out, the quotes or quote requests and stuff, and what the quotes were, I sent all that in before we get reimbursed, so. So yeah, more than likely it would end up falling in next year's budget for that, so. We did have 4 calls in December, and should start out with that, but we did have 4 calls, 2 of them were billable, 2 of them were not billable. 2 non-billable were mutual aid calls, there's a garage fire in Breck River, and then the Stone House fire, we got a call them 2. The 2 billable ones were accident calls.
None of our guys got injured at the Stone House fire, right?
No.
Okay.
The next thing, I wanted to bring up, so the last time we got, certified for CPR, we have to get certified every 2 years. One of our guys had started like a business where they did the trainings and stuff like that. He had all the equipment, basically the mannequins, all that stuff for doing the classes, because he was doing it as his own little business. He's decided to get rid of that equipment. But he is still certified to teach the CPR classes. He still has a certification for teaching. So what he brought to us is he, basically for all the mannequins and everything, that all the supplies and everything that we need for putting the class on. He'd sell it to the department for $1,200. And, it's the value of that stuff is $2,159. So the department would only, all the mannequins and stuff are doing the CPR classes. And then when we actually have to go through and get, certified, it would be $30 per person. That covers the supplies, because the mannequins have like the lungs and stuff that go inside of them. So that covers the supplies and the CPR card. There's actually a charge for the CPR card. It'll be $30 per person once we own the equipment. And he would be willing to, basically train, keep doing the teaching and stuff. And like I said, the equipment would be ours. The last time we got certified, before he did our last one, we paid UP Health Systems Rampart to certify us, because they do that as well. And we paid, back in March of 2022, we paid $1,120 to have 14 people, so once we get through the initial cost of the $1,200, if we wanted the township, wanted to purchase these mannequins and stuff we're putting on the class, it would be $30 per person compared to whatever $1,120 divided by 14 is per person. That's
80.
like $80 a person. So it's just, he said it, he brought it up to us, he'd given us first chance, and if we don't want to do it, he's got another trainer that would be interested in buying the equipment. But he wanted to give us the first chance at it because it would save us money in the long run, but.
You guys were just certified in 24.
Correct.
You don't need it this year at all.
No. And some of the guys, like we had 14 when we got it in 2022. So some of the guys get certified through work. Their employers will certify some of them and stuff. So I mean, some of them don't need to go through it and stuff, because of their employment to get certified, and they may be on an off year compared to us or whatever too, so. But yeah, we don't need to get certified this year, other than, yeah, it might be maybe some of the new ones, if they don't have CPR, I'd have to look at that and see if they have it or not, but yeah, I mean,
So it would be, I did math real quick, correct me if I'm wrong, but it would be 6 years before you would break even. If, for about that many people. at $50 more per person. For 14 people, I mean, I have to make sure I'm doing this right here, it'd be about $700. Each certification, so it would be 3 certifications before that $1,200 would be wiped, right? You following me?
Yeah, but would something make this person, how does he get certified? Is he
He's already,
gonna
he's already
always,
certified.
for life? He never has to get
As long as,
recertified
as long
to
as you
train?
teach, I think you gotta teach so many classes per year,
Oh,
then to keep the certification.
And are there other people besides him? Like, let's just say he
He's-
decides not to do it in 2 years. Is there somebody else that would do it using this equipment that we own?
Not right now, but I
That's
think to
good
get
point.
certified, I think he said it's only like a couple $100 to get certified.
Okay.
If, you know, if we wanted to get another person certified or something down the road or whatever, but yeah, he's the only one on the department right now that's certified to use CPR.
So then these mannequins or what, all this equipment would only be used once every 2 years. I mean,
Yeah,
he would have no reason to continue to use it, correct?
no, he wouldn't be using it for anything, it would just be for our use, like I say, it would only be, I guess the only thing that would be is if it's not every other year would be like, you know, if we have new people that join and need to get certified, then we could do a class, you know, for the new people that aren't certified, we could get them, you know, pushed through it, so then there'd be a chance of reusing it, like, you know, possibly you could use it every year if you have new recruits or whatever need to get certified, but
And we'd be the only one using this equipment. You're not gonna rent it out to
No.
anybody else or come somebody else.
That'd be the township's,
Just,
it'd be the township's equipment for just, our purpose of getting certified.
How old is the equipment?
He's only been doing this for, I think, 2 years. So it's all in, he didn't do a lot of classes, he kind of did it on the side, so, I mean, I would say. I mean, the stuff was pretty much like new, I mean, when we used it, he's got the little training AEDs and stuff that we did and stuff like that when we got certified and stuff for it, so the books and stuff.
do you know how often it goes out? So we, like, buy it the next year to come up with a new model and.
No, the mannequin, I wouldn't make.
Human love.
Okay.
Cause I mean, I think the ones that the hospital used or the Rampart used and stuff when they have, I think those things have been around for a long time. Those things, some of those are getting kind of beat up.
This is different from the mannequin guy you already have,
Yeah, that's,
because he gets lent out.
He's
no,
like a fire dummy though, right?
well,
Yeah, he does get lent out.
occasionally another department will we might let another department use it, but there's one that, at the beginning, it did a little bit more, but now the Delta County Fire Chiefs Association has one just like ours, so that one gets lent out to the other departments and stuff, not more than ours, but.
I think if we're comparing costs, we need to compare, since this person wouldn't have the equipment to provide the service. We have to compare what UP Health charges, not,
And I don't know what they would charge.
well, I know, but if we're looking at. How long it would take to pay it off, or for it to pay back, it would be 1 year of UP Health cost for $1,200.
Yeah, but then you gotta add $30 on per person, that we're gonna still be charged.
Yeah,
So it's a savings of $50 per person.
it's $1,600 to do it this way versus potentially 11 or 1,200 to do it outsourced.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's if their rates haven't gone up since.
Right. I mean, it's your budget, if you wanna spend the money on it and you have room to store them and it makes sense.
But if he leaves or doesn't get recertified, then it's a waste because there'd be nobody to use it.
Yeah, we'd have
Yeah,
to.
I'd have to get somebody, we'd have to get someone certified, and he said it was only a couple $100, like maybe $200 or something like that to get certified. Through the,
I'd be more comfortable about buying it if we had more than one person certified, at least 2 that we know are gonna be around the department a while. Yeah. I think. Yeah, because if something happened and didn't recertify it, and we'd have to sell the equipment, which I suppose we always could, but then we'd be having to sell.
or pay $100 to have somebody certified, you know, if someone's willing to do it, but.
Yeah, that's the other thing, if we could find someone certified that wouldn't charge us the full amount because we have the equipment, because that's.
Yeah,
We wouldn't wanna pay the Rampart price when you have your own.
Is Rampart's not the only one that does it though? I mean, the Red Cross does it, correct? I think they're like 85.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I don't know if they. I don't know what they charge, I mean, the American Red Cross probably does it as well, We go through American Heart Association as far as we want to be certified through. So there's a couple different ones, but
I remember years back, we did have issues with Red Cross. They had two people that did it, they retired, and they weren't able to get anyone to replace them for quite a while.
We need to make a decision on this tonight, or is this just informational at this point?
oh, he'd like to sell the equipment, and he'd like to get it sold if we're not gonna do it, so I would say if we're not gonna do it, we should let him know. You know, if we don't wanna go through with it, I can let him know, if it sounds like he had another training company that would be interested in buying it if we don't take it, he wanted to give us the first opportunity on it, so.
I guess my thoughts are we should probably, I wouldn't wanna make a decision right tonight until we find out if there's anyone else too that would be. Willing to get certified, and I tell him, you know, we'll make a decision next month if he finds a buyer, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
So be it, if he's got someone that would be willing to buy it. Because I would assume someone who would buy the equipment would be willing to do for the vacation, so maybe we could look into.
Yeah.
Getting a bid from them on it too.
Good. Next thing I had down was, our wigwags on the front of unit one. One of them stopped working, a replacement set of wigwags. The wigwags are little flashing lights that go in the grill, warning lights. So the wigwags, basically the ones that are dead. So I got a price of $394. For a new set of wigwags that would go on the front of it.
Who puts those on, do you?
But we install them. It's pretty much just connecting a couple of wires. They pretty much have the same off. We replaced the ones on unit 4, I think a couple of years ago. We had one for the set burned out and got old and we replaced them, so. Yeah, it was $394. I don't know if there might be a little bit of shipping on that, if they didn't go up the shipping on it, but.
Do they give you written quotes on that stuff, Brian?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we spend up to $430 for the lights required on the truck, because I don't know how much shipping will be, and I don't know the word you used already.
Yeah.
Wait,
Great, thanks.
yeah, one of those, that's my motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion second for purchasing those lights, any more discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye, all opposed? Approved?
Okay, and then, last thing I had, I guess, under the, updates portion is, our windshield cover, old cars that, pretty old, that stopped, it won't work anymore. So I did get a quote for a new windshield cover. Basically the one that, I quoted out, it's $545, but it runs off a Milwaukee impact drill. So they quoted out as a kit, $545 for the cutter, and then $942 for the impact driver kit. So it comes out to $1487 as a kit. Basically it's for like the laminated glass, so like your windshields, the side windows on the cars used to be. Basically, you could just tap on the little window breaking tool and they would shatter, but a lot of your newer vehicles now, they're starting to put laminated glass in the side windows as well. So if you need to try to get into the, these vehicles and stuff like that, you're almost at that point where you need these covers and stuff, so.
The one that you have that quit working, does that not work off of an impact?
Nope, that was a standalone tool and, we've had that since we started the extrication, so that's probably been at least.
You can't buy one that way again? No? Without buying
These ones,
an
these
extra
ones, you probably can, these are a little bit, more. Yeah, more, use from, because, you know, you can use the drill as well on scenes and stuff, we don't have a drill on the trucks or, at, you know, at the current time, we have saws and stuff, but we don't have a drill, so I mean, you know, you can get dual use out of it, you can use it, you know, with the window cutter, and then you also have the drill that you can use if, in the event of, needing a drill for something as well. $1,487, $1,487, and then that will include shipping and that as well, either, so. A lot of these places, until they actually ship it, they don't know what the shipping costs are really gonna be, so.
I'd say, I think the motion is spend up to 1,600, including shipping. For the pool.
We're getting kind of close on the fire department budget, though. I was wanting to.
Shouldn't be. Well, I don't know, because I haven't gotten a report lately on it, but we haven't hardly spent it this year.
It's in your packet. Every month, I mean, every month you get this, don't you get this one? Should, it's in the financial part of the budget.
So,
Now, I will get you a detailed one.
but we haven't purchased anything at all this year, so I don't know why we're being close on the budget.
I just thought to, I can't find it. I'll second Jane's motion.
I know we have, I remember we were at 42 or something, 44, and we had 50 in the budget. There is enough to cover it. I know we were getting a little close, but. Do we have a motion and a second? Any more discussion? If not, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Approved.
And that's all I have as far as.
It'll be inventory. I did take a pretty detailed look. It's pretty up to date, except I did notice the new unit 5 pump isn't on the inventory yet, so.
Yeah, we didn't put like, I don't think the old trailer pump was on there, and then like obviously our unit 1, 2, 3, and 4 aren't listed on the inventory.
Yeah, they really should be, they're big money items, they should be on their,
Yeah.
trucks themselves.
Yeah, we can add those onto it, and this is just the list that we have from our software that we use, and I did talk to. At our meeting last, 2 weeks ago, I did, you know, reach out to have a few people that are willing to come down and help, with the process of going through and stickering at least some of the bigger item stuff. I mean, like individual little axes and stuff like that are gonna be hard to do, but it's the bigger item, expensive stuff, you know, you get a little hammer. It's gonna be hard to keep the stickers on some of that stuff, you know, that's getting used for shopping and stuff or whatever, but we'll get as much stuff stickered as we can,
The
and
stickers normally don't fall off, Brian. I think you're.
normally don't fall off in this, but when you're dragging them through a burning house and you're using them to cut stuff.
Fact is that it's not us that's requiring this, it's our insurance company. They put stick. Dave, do you have trouble with stickers falling off your stuff? They're all on it. They're all on there already. But do yours fall off when you use it?
No.
We really need to have stickered everything that we can,
Yeah.
and it's not for us. It's
On
not
that
us that's
subject,
required it.
there are some things that NFPA won't allow any stickers on, the fire gear. The air packs, the air bottles, those things, they have regulations.
We're
that
talking about,
Whatever, the other stuff.
Axes and
Yeah,
hammers and.
that stuff can be stickered. And if we get, they say it's a lot of work for one guy, but if you get a couple of young guys that are, it's a good way for them to learn the equipment too. is really- Then item C, trailer project.
So I turned in, basically I came up with a list of stuff that we need to, get that thing up and running. I think that was part of the packet there. I'd asked last month and I was told that I needed to have an itemized list on the items. So basically it comes up to about $9,240. We have the $3,500 casino grant. So that leaves $5,740 plus shipping. Shipping could add up a little bit on that, so.
Can you just remind me what we have? We have a pump in a trailer and that's it?
Correct.
And then where's the other pump? Was it pulled on a trailer or not? And where's that trailer?
That's all, for it all. That, once we get the new one up and running, that'll be something that we can sell, that we have parties interested in, purchasing, that don't have pumps currently. That's something we could, I'm thinking we can get a couple thousand for that once we do sell that one.
The stuff that, I'm sorry, I just don't know anything about this, like, the stuff that you wanna purchase, can't you take it off the old one?
No.
Or is it different?
Different size.
The old one is a 4-inch suction, this one's a 6-inch. So the 4-inch suction hose that's on the old pump won't work. The other thing is that some of these elbows are to make the plumbing go in the direction you need it off the trailer so that it points toward the front of the trailer when. So that the hose can run directly off, and that's where some of these, like these swivels and adapters are coming in.
Does this have to come out of the budget?
So what I put down here, we got the $3,500 that we already got that check from the casino grant, and then I put down on here. $6,000 coming from our fundraising money. That we have in the accounting clear, so. That would put us at 9,500, so that gives us a little bit more than the 9,240, because there's gonna be shipping charges and stuff in there, I don't know what that's gonna add up to.
So won't impact the budget, is that?
It wouldn't impact our annual budget, because then, one of the 3,500 will be coming out of fire grant income. And then the 6,000 will be coming out of our fundraising money that.
I think we're at like 10 something now.
Something. I've been talking to about.
Donations or?
Yeah.
Well, we had the one pancake breakfast
Pancake breakfast.
and some donations.
And some work department, I think they get $1,200 for doing security somewhere or something. Yeah, so.
Did you would have said 800 deposits, or y'all were just at 20?
So every report previous had the deposits. This one, it was just 350. The total's there always.
Okay.
And yeah, every month I have their own section. Yep. If it's a bunch of smalls, I just put donation variables kind of, but if it's a big check, I put even kind of.
Who's the vendor for the trailer department?
The equipment on here is through Palmsall Fire Equipment.
Is this something we need to bid or get quotes on, or? It's the total budget?
That's what I was wondering, because it's high. It's over the
It's
5,000.
something we can get quotes from other places on too. This is. I guess the reason it's listed just from one vendor is it's for decision whether we want to spend the money or not, so. When it comes to actually buying it, yeah, they can check with other vendors.
I mean, listen, we have a pump and we have a
We could
trailer.
also,
There's no, we can't not do this, right?
Yeah.
Like, otherwise we might as well sell the pump and trailer.
Yeah, excuse me, it does need the equipment or it won't work.
And then bidding would be, the question would be, if you buy these individually, none of them are over. These are actually just nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole package would be, if you bought it all from one vendor, would be over what we need to put out for bid.
Right, but this is actually someone walking around the harbor.
But it
Seems
is
to
all the
me-
same vendor, so technically, yes, we need to put it on by bids.
Yeah,
It seems to me we'd be circumventing our bid requirements.
and we can put it on the website for, bids. We got a bid place on the website, so we can add it there.
I don't think the board is planning on not making the pump and trailer usable, right? I mean, there's already 45 grand into this or whatever it is, so.
And it is. So
Yeah.
after the purchase, we just want this.
Yeah. I don't even whether want to legally, Bob's right, we can't be gray about it. With the amount of money, it has to be a bid.
To get it rolling, but I guess, the way it should probably be worded is to spend up to this amount because they got this quote. And then if another bidder bids under it, that way it's,
Yeah, but don't we have to look at the bids and open them?
yeah, we'd have to open the bid, sure.
So we really wouldn't be, the only thing we're voting on is whether or not we should seek bids for the pump project.
Right, yeah,
Well, the problem you're gonna have, you're probably gonna get, not all vendors are probably gonna be able to bid on every item. You'd have to do an individual bid for every single item, because they're not, there's some places that do fire, that deal with fire equipment, they don't deal with. That's the thing with fire equipment, is a lot of it is,
You put
for one, you get certain vendors that might be, they have territories. So they can't cross,
You put the bid specs out, and if they don't bid, they don't bid.
and if he's the only bidder that bids on it, I mean, it doesn't say you can't accept this price, it just says that we put it out for bid.
Charlie has something to say.
Yeah, sure.
It's a question or a thought. Does this fall under, that's the question, does this fall under township rules? Because A, it's a grant, and B, it is fundraising funds. It's not tax.
Fundraising funds are now subject to township rules.
All right, so I'd ask the question. Good.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Fundraising funds are something.
That's what I said.
Yeah, oh, I think you said aren't.
No, yes, no, Bob,
My-
come
my-
right over that table.
Yeah.
So where we're at now, is we need a motion to get bids for the trailer equipment project. So what we're saying,
Yeah,
I made that motion.
motion, we got support,
Can you repeat the motion, Jane?
I make a motion that we get bids for the trailer. What you call it, Brian? I'm sorry, the trailer project. For purchase of the trailer project.
I'll support.
motion in support, any more discussion? All in favor?
Right.
Aye, all opposed? Approved. Basically, all we have to do is take this list of equipment without the prices, put it out. Put it on the website and advertise it, in a couple of, if there are any other vendors in the area. AMD Community Foundation,
And I asked to have that put on the agenda. I talked again with the ladies over at the Community Foundation, and I think they can provide some relief and, either get this fire department fundraising account, I guess, for lack of a better description, to look and function like it did previously, but still comply with, all of the state regulations on township monies and, the handling of those. The Community Foundation will, take that money outside the purview of the township board, the fire department can go and do its own fundraising. They want to answer to the township board for it. They can appoint custodians of those funds, and the Community Foundation will monitor that and make sure it's dispersed in accordance with state law. They're audited every year, so there will be eyes put on it. they will do the accounting for it and provide reporting back to the fire department, but, I guess it takes that burden off of Amanda. It takes the burden off of Brian to have to come to the township board and, you know, do things presumably a month or more in advance to try to get the requisite approval. So I guess I just see a lot of reasons that I think, you know, the fire department should be happier under this arrangement. I think it's a lot less work for the township, and I'm confident that everything that's done will be fully compliant with state law and Department of Treasury, right? So seems like a win for everybody, but I'm just presenting it as what I think is the best option to go forward. There is a fee. The community foundation will charge 1 3/4% annually of the assets. But at the same time, those funds are invested, so they're going to be earning a return that's currently well in excess of the 1.75%. So even the net to the department is greater than they would be at today, for example, or, you know, certainly no less of a net to the department. I explained to the foundation that, look, the dollars to start this thing are very small, but the plan is to grow it back. I let them know that at one point it was 6 figures, and I would expect someday it will return to something in that neighborhood. And, you know, they're perfectly fine with starting small and, you know, helping grow that account back to where it was. And if there is a payback, all the better. It'll go back quickly under those circumstances. So there's a package that the foundation provided with a draft agreement. I didn't see anything in there that looked like it was problematic. But I'd be happy to, you know, sit down with Brian and the ladies at the foundation if they find it helpful and just sort of, you know, help craft this and organize it.
So we discussed that at our meeting. I presented this draft, to our guys at the department, and we're not interested in going with the community foundation to control our fundraising money and giving up 1.75%. When, I mean, we have a treasurer and stuff here that can handle the funds and pay the bills like we were told when we first switched the money over. And the guys pretty much decided at our last meeting that we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start the process with 501c3. Creating our own 501c3 account so that we can, any fundraising will be done through the 501c3, and then we have control of our money and stuff. So I think for the time being, I think it just needs to stay with the township treasurer controlling it and writing all the checks for it. And we really no benefit for us to go through the community foundation. I mean, the only thing would be is it would give us the ability to do a raffle, since townships can't be involved with the raffle. And at this point, none of us are really interested in doing the raffle. I mean, for what we made on it. And then the last one, basically having to return all the prizes because we weren't able to do it after we were told we could. So having to go back to the business and return all those prizes and stuff. No one's really interested in doing a raffle at this time. So we're not really interested in doing that. And we're gonna move forward, and we'll see if we can get the information from the lawyer on starting a 501c3. If not, we go through that process on our own and figure it out on our own.
Well, we definitely can't use our township lawyer to develop a nonprofit.
We can't use township funds to pay that attorney.
No.
Either.
Well, in the same aspect, the Porter Township Fire Department cannot go into an agreement with the community foundation because we no longer have the ability to control our own funds. The township did. So that would have to be the Porter Township in an agreement with the community foundation, not Porter Fire
Why
Department.
is,
Yeah,
there-
that's right.
why is there so much like,
Aggression.
yeah, this really.
Because when this all started, we were told that there would be no problem for the
So
township
people make
treasurer
mistakes.
and the township clerk and
Right,
everything to
people
take
make
care of it.
mistakes.
So
They
why-
didn't know at that time
What's
what
the
would be
problem? Why
involved.
can't the township treasurer and the township clerk control the funds? Why can't they? We were told that they could. Why can't they? As long as we follow all the taxpayer, why do we have to go
This is
through a
a,
community
this is a
foundation?
township decision, first of all. It's not a fire department decision. If the township decides the fundraising will be gone through the community foundation, then that's where it will be. I don't understand why there's so much hostility in your voice the last couple of months. We should be working together.
Exactly.
We didn't take your money, Brian.
I didn't take the money either, for the last
There's
3,
no
4 months,
reason
that's the
for
way
you
it's been.
to
I've been
have
treated like it's been me. Everything that's, I bring up, double guessed. And everything's been brought up like it's something I did, I didn't do this, I didn't take the money.
Nobody
Brian, you're the
insinuated that.
fire chief, you represent the department. I think it's really a poor decision to form your own 501c3. You're gonna spend a pile of money on legal fees, and you're gonna land in the exact same spot you would land paying a very meager 1.75% of the community foundation. I don't understand the rationale. I mean, it's your department, but who's giving them the advice to form their own 501c3?
Well, there's other
At this point,
departments.
they don't have any money. The community foundation will do absolutely 100% of everything that you'd be able to do with a 501c3, and they'll do it for next to nothing.
1.75%.
Have you done the math on what a lawyer costs and how long it's gonna take just to earn out the legal fees at 1.75%? And is the lawyer gonna invest the money? For you
There's
too?
a lot of
You still have to have
departments out there
somebody
that have
do
their own
that.
501c3s.
You have to pay accountants, you have to pay lawyers, you have to pay money managers. Unless you have hundreds of thousands of dollars, it makes 0 sense to form your own 501c3. And I'm just wondering what kind of advice you're getting, and why somebody would suggest that you do that when the very same thing is accomplished here and you don't have.
Bob.
to do any of it.
Are you a trust agent with, Community Foundation, is that why you're pushing this so much?
I have absolutely nothing to do with community foundations, financial.
So you're not a trust agent?
If the community foundation is a bank client, Brian, that has absolutely nothing. If that's where you're going with this. It has nothing to do with whether or not it makes sense for you to run a 501c3. If you can find somebody else other than the community foundation, and you don't like the community foundation,
We did,
go with them.
we did, the township treasurer and the township clerk. Why does it have to go through an organization?
Because
It's
you
paying bills
you
and
complained about it incessantly and you didn't like giving up control. And if
I
that's
didn't-
the case, why are you telling me you're forming?
I never
a 501c3?
complained.
Brian, don't interrupt me. Why are you telling me you're forming your own 501c3 then?
that's the decision that we made.
If you're happy with the township treasurer, like you just expressed you are, then why are you forming the 501c3? Because that's the model that the community foundation represents.
Because the agreement came through that it was gonna be voted on and discussed at this meeting, that they were gonna go through the community foundation, and the guys don't wanna go through the community foundation. So they just decided that we're gonna go through and move forward and looking for, the information and starting our own 501c3.
My thoughts on it are, we don't have to do this tonight. Let the fire department explore the 501c3. Maybe he'll decide it isn't the best deal, but we won't know that until they explore what it'll cost them and let them at least explore the possibility, and we'll see where it goes from there. And I guess the fire department's satisfied with doing what we had to do tonight to get this money, you know, and that's the process we have to use.
I think we forgot the problem we were trying to solve, which was Brian didn't want the delay of coming to the board for permission to use funds. And in that vein, remembering that, Bob, I greatly appreciate the efforts to try to do that for them that you presented.
Yeah, you're welcome. Just trying to help solve the problem.
Yep,
And I don't recall ever complaining once we switched over to this, saying that there was a problem coming with it. I said, when you guys said that it would have to be followed by the taxpayer funding equipment, I never complained about that.
Well, my thoughts are we can come back to it at another time. We can. Maybe it is very expensive. I don't know what any of the costs are.
and my warning is this, if it's not done properly, we will not be able to fund the department with any grant, any money.
Then you don't have a department. So maybe that's what you guys are pushing for.
Okay, I agree with Steve, let's just table this, Brian, I don't know what's going on with you. We have tried over and over, I personally have tried over and over to help you do inventory, help you fundraise, help you get around, help you do stuff. You do not want any help from anybody. Nobody on this board, or I don't know of anywhere else. I don't understand that, but that's your objective, but don't come back and having a fit, because we're trying to help you, that's all we've ever done, as far as I can see, as board members, is trying to help you, and you bucked us every step of the way. You said things were gonna be different. I got a sheet that said, we made $5,673 on pancake breakfast or whatever, written in your handwriting. I saw nothing. How many people were there? You're not willing to change anything. And by not changing anything, that's what got you in this predicament in the first place. I don't blame you for any of this, Brian. It was overlooked. It should have been checked, but it wasn't. No, we're only trying to help you, and you're acting like we're attacking you, but we're not. And I'm sorry that you feel that way. That's all we've been buying. I feel it's everyone else's intention was to help the fire department. It's what I've said from the beginning. We all have. We're giving you different options, but you just set your ways and you're not listening. So maybe it is best we just table it and go from there.
Everybody done then? Water system business. Water system updates.
December was pretty fun. Leak detection got pushed back, not because of anything here, so having Steve emergency approve it was a little premature, but. They use water main valves to do leak detection, and once they were like, hey, we can come. In 2 weeks, we started checking our main valves in Gladstone, who's gonna split the travel costs with us. But we had so many full of sand and ice that they weren't gonna be accessible for a while. So my supervisor in Gladstone thought, could we reschedule? And I told them, whenever they come from Gladstone, I'm comfortable. So that'll be either end of this month, kind of weather dependent, if not first customer in April.
First what?
Customer in April. If the weather's great in a couple weeks, they'll come, but it's
So do
absolutely.
we need to accept this proposal? I completely lost.
Yeah, as long as, it's not gonna be the situation that it originally, we can vote on it tonight.
Okay.
The only differences would be is the timeline, because of course, we would wait until Gladstone is ready to do it, so.
So in my report, there's a few things over the last year. I just believe we've been leaking water. I checked. I don't know if you guys remember, I had the grand dig back by the apartments because there was a sinkhole. And I had Michigan Rural Water also has some leak detection equipment. They came on site, listened to some stuff, thought, try the sinkhole. So we tried that. The Grands had the water main open, the service lines, there's no water. They recommended hiring this Aqualine because that's what they do every day. They said they're just better than us. The first time I've ever heard of a leak detection company. There's a lot of references on there. I didn't call anyone, but I sat with my supervisor in Gladstone. He probably called 4 or 5 of them, and there was a few leaks. They got them within 6 inches of the leak. Eskies used to. I talked to their old distribution supervisor. He said they had it done back in like 2014. I don't know if it was this company or not. They had a couple different quotes, but he said they found leaks. So I hope it works out for us too, because I think
I
we're
know that
making.
there's been question for a few years, even one of the past water operators questioned why our usage is higher than our billing.
Yeah, and that's, even since I took over there, I've watched like pump hours also, not just the billing, pump hours. Pumpage just in gallons, go up. And I think the billing number, these meters are from what, 2008, that's getting up there, cause I found a couple of reports from H2O in Motion back in like 14-15 of what they were billing, and we're billing out less than that now, which could be chalked up to degradation of meters. But, you know, that's something, I got a quote for those, I'll just budget for that next year, and we'll start picking away at them.
So do we need to act on this quote tonight? I mean, do we need to?
Yeah, I
vote on
guess
it?
we might as well act on it
Okay.
tonight, because,
So I will make a motion that we accept the bid from Aqua Line Leak Detection Services in the amount of $2,715, and that's the split travel cost with the Gladstone, City of Gladstone. That, the travel costs are included in that $2,715. Okay,
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the second one
Yeah.
was on there, for
4,000.
1,600 more.
all right.
I'll support it. Seems like we do well spread.
Yeah,
you have motion and support, any more discussion?
A couple of those references even said they have some. It's probably cities, larger places, but they have them scheduled to come through like every 3-4 years just to get a. I think with leak detection, it's probably the more times they listen to your system, the more familiar they get. But here we'll probably, I'll just go off pump hours and gallon, you know, keep comparing, and I've started to make up a chart to compare, you know, last month versus last year, and just so we can get a kind of a graph and see where we're at.
And they can do it in one day. Did I
That's what he
understand that?
said, that's what he says, yeah,
It's impressive.
like
yeah,
little cockroaches.
I guess.
Don't say that. I like it. It's really like this.
Okay,
There's a motion.
okay, we got the motion, any more discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Approved.
So are we chlorinating right now then?
I have a little bit going still, I cut the dosage in, not in half, probably to 60-70% of what I was doing originally. Just because I have a 55-gallon drum made up, and I'm letting it sit there as a waste, so I'm just gonna use a little bit at a
And
time.
then I had another question, there are homes that were involved in the boil advisory. Have they all been notified now that it's over in any way? I mean, would it be worth us sending them a letter? In some way? I mean, I can do that.
I brought door knockers to probably 80% of them, I'd
Said it was okay to
Yeah.
use it now?
so I've got most, and a lot of
Okay, 'cause
them.
I haven't
said-
gotten calls lately.
Yeah.
so.
I was out Friday giving out notices.
Okay.
And it was posted on the
Yep, I
internet,
saw that.
on our website and on
Facebook,
Facebook, and Radio Results Network put notices out too.
Steve, I do want to thank you very much for letting us know what's going on with it, because I was getting phone calls too, so it was help, because then it saved from other people calling. And I really do appreciate all the updates on it and going through. One thing I had come to mind though is that we should encourage people when we send things out to sign up for that email alert. Because that way then you could, you could have shot an email out and everybody would have been, and that's another way too, because I was telling people too to keep checking the website, to keep checking
Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
It's not bad either with an email alert too. 'cause
I don't know how
sometimes
many
people
we
can-
have on them.
That's I think last time I talked to it was like 15 of them or something,
Yeah.
but I think if we start encouraging it and get the word out.
And July's tax letter, I'll put it in.
Yeah, stuff like that,
Yeah.
get the word out that they make sure that they do the double identity, that they get the email, then they have to confirm it, and then it should be. I think it's a good way that people can be.
What about a notice on our Facebook encouraging them to look at the
Yeah,
website and sign up for that?
Yeah.
And to Jane's point, that whenever Steve puts out, whenever we post on Facebook, hey, we need to let you know something, and don't forget to sign up for our email, or, you know, every time we post, we can be reminded.
Because then they can sign up and then you say,
Yeah.
I don't know how it goes, Julie, you'd have to work, do that, but, then they get an email saying, okay, it's okay now, or.
Yeah, well, basically, Eagle has requirements for posting about this stuff, and that's what we were basically following.
I'm just saying this is an additional one that we.
Yeah. But we can do more, if people are willing, it's easy enough to put an email out there, if people are willing to look at it.
Do we vote on this?
Anything else underwater?
We did.
Yeah. Well, I don't
Not for December.
We got that, it all, but that's one.
We can talk about it now, but I think
Yeah,
it's gonna be
we got the
posted.
bill from DeGrand today.
Did you?
I didn't know.
That's one. We're
Yeah,
gonna,
that's
that's
it.
Yeah,
It's still worth it. That was also a lead line, so we got that over the system.
silver lining.
So we can write that one off to the grant.
No, but that's in my report to Eagle in March.
Another one
You're
down.
supposed to get rid of
10%?
5% every year.
Okay, I thought it was 10.
Yeah,
yeah, and that's,
Keep
that,
plugging away at them.
the grant that they were talking about, that's still in the process. And one of the issues with the grant was they had several options. One was a low interest loan, one's grant combination low interest loan. And so there's a lot of work to work through before we would actually, because of the amount that C2AE put in was 1,111,000. Well, obviously, if we're just gonna take that out for low interest loan, that would be something we really have to take a look at before we would be able to do any of that, but if it comes as a grant, that would make it much easier. So that's where we're at with that. The last discussion we had at that meeting with Eagle was all the options that are going to be available for the work, so.
wanna talk about what? Or you wanna wait?
If you wanna talk about it now, or that's, you know.
I think the more information we have on it, better off.
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah, it was extended, time wise, it was longer than I hoped, but I learned a lot and I'm happy. I believe it was done right, safe, like the water was safe the whole time because of that. Even though I had doubts that my samples were testing positive. Being under a boil takes, my belief out of it and protects everyone.
Can you say that one more time? Even though your tests were you thinking that there was a false positive or a false negative?
Kind of, so since it's a non-chlorinated system. I had to find sample points at houses, well, I don't know what they do, what kind of plumbing have they done themselves over time? There's a lot of requirements to meet proper sampling points.
Yeah.
And when I'm knocking on doors, it's like, well, my best guess, this is an okay one,
Yeah.
but then you take it and test positive, it's like, well. That sink could be dirty, I don't know where they cleaned it,
Sure.
the sprayer hoses are bad sampling points, but it's like everyone has them.
Yeah.
So the first night was kind of a waste of sampling, it was kind of just like, maybe we're good. Then the next day I brought out a bunch of bleach, took aerators off every sink, that didn't work, so I was like, okay, now I gotta flush them in. Ran hydrants for probably 10 hours at a low rate because the frost in the ground isn't gonna take a ton of water and we don't have storm sewers to take the water, so I couldn't fill M35 with water. So I didn't really let a ton of water go. A couple houses were flushing quite a bit for me, which I appreciated. So then I just kept bouncing around between houses, and then one house would go positive, which is bad.
Yeah.
Negative, I'm like, okay, we clean that one up, and then the third one would be positive. I'm like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that I had a theory like this will clean it up. And it didn't work. And every sample pushes me back 24 hours.
I was gonna say, yeah, every whole
I
day.
talked to Eagle asking like, could I take 3 samples, wait 8 hours? And if those first 3 samples pass, then, the next ones are up at 8, and like, no, gotta wait 24. And I had, well, the whole time, the very end of the line, Smoney Auto.
Yeah.
We tested negatives 5 or 6 times. Initially, I thought if something's gonna test positive, it'd be the end of the line.
Right.
So he was negative the whole time, so that was trying practically, hindsight is 20/20 now, but at the time I was thinking, if he's clean. The water should be clean, so I kept thinking all these sampling points that I'm using. In these other
Contaminated
homes,
already, some way.
may have been slime, you know, whether I bleached as much as I can that I could reach to. What's down the line in the plumbing, even though I'm running. And I was running sample, running their water for 20 minutes before taking a sample, but. I don't know, it's tough to say what's in plumbing when it's not a non-chlorinated
Yeah.
system forever. So then I then it was okay, let's get the chlorine going. Had a priming issue, the chlorine pump looks great, or oh, that'll work. I've used it before, just pumping water, it doesn't put out a ton, but we don't pump that much. Out of the well, so I think, okay, if we pump that much chlorine, it should dosage wise equal out, math wise, correct. It wouldn't stay primed, so we spent all Friday just, okay, it's good, 20 minutes later. It sounds different, it's not flipping chlorine out. So then I borrowed a pump, that would work throughout the whole time. I underestimated how a non-chlorinated system piping really eats up chlorine. Jane and Judy both let me sample at their houses. And get a really good result one night, like Saturday at Judy's house, exact what my math would come out to. Sunday morning, got like 10% of what I got the night before, so I was getting confused through that. I had the hydrant down at the adult learning center going from Friday morning till it cleared on Thursday, almost a week. Kept checking that for chlorine and there'd be no results down there because I think the main, it just eats it up.
Yeah,
And chlorine in general, dissipates, so.
Yeah.
So then around that Tuesday, Wednesday. I didn't really want to take samples until I got a result, so I kind of took a. Investigative sample back to Gladstone. Off the hydrant, because that was tested positive once, because hydrants also aren't great sample points, because they sit empty for years. Took that on like a Tuesday. Had my supervisor read it for just ego purposes, say, it's not gonna clear because it's my system and just make it look good, but I had a couple of guys like, yeah, it's a clear sample. So then I came home, took my 3 officials, that passed. Wednesday, I took another one, that passed, so then we were done on Thursday.
awesome,
Yeah,
thank you.
took a while, but I think confidence wise, I could cut that and down 75% of time wise, so. Well,
Thank you so much.
yeah,
Doing all the right things.
That had even a lot of stress.
just like I said, every time I had a theory, I'm like, oh, that'll do it, it just didn't work.
So do we need a new chlorine pump? Where did you
Probably.
borrow one from?
Classroom.
Thank you, Gladstone.
Yeah, and then the guy that I worked with runs rock in Nema, that's where I got the chlorine from. I've kind of got a deal, this chlorine, like Steve asked, he said, well, we should keep chlorine on hand there. Well, you can, but liquid chlorine, it's pretty much a strong bleach.
Yeah,
Like your bleach, you buy at home is 10%. What we use is 12.5. Over time, if your 12.5 sits there for 6 months, well, now it might be a 10, it might be an 8. So when you do math, it's like, well, I don't know what dosage to feed out,
Right.
because is my chlorine new or is my chlorine old?
So how long does it take to get it if you have to get it?
So that's what I was.
when you have friends in rock, about an hour.
Yes, so he consistently uses chlorine, he changes one out every 2 weeks. We're gonna buy an extra 2 off of him. And we're just gonna keep those where he's like, I'll just keep rotating those out. And if you ever need them, take them, but I'll just keep more on hand, but they're yours.
That's a good idea.
So that's what we're gonna do,
But then we'll put a pump in the budget for next year.
yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for all of that.
Do we owe him for the chlorine that we?
Yeah, he's gonna figure out, cause he's pretty fresh with FEMA, so I don't know what relationship he has with his billing side, but he'll figure that out.
So we'll get a bill for the chlorine and, we have hours for Curtis this
Yeah.
month, right?
Yep.
And then, but the testing, I think I
I got 3 more, the 3 that cleared it, I have the receipt in my truck.
okay, cause we, I think paid the.
Yeah, I saw it.
Again.
Yep.
And then is there a rental fee for Gladstone pump usage?
I'll
I'll
tell them.
Yeah, okay. You've been through all this, Paul, run halfway if you need to go. It's not rude.
I'm good, I like to know what's going on.
Okay.
We almost called you to bring us bottled water. No. Totally kidding.
I helped out a little bit with oil advisory notice for one of the times,
Oh, yeah.
but not as much as I wish I could have.
I actually asked him because we were having trouble with some of the media, they don't call you back, you put in. They have an answering service, you put in, you need to get a notice out on.
Oh.
They don't call back. But the one that was very good was Radio Results Network, and he gave me his personal cell phone now. So if we have anything like that, but the other media is very difficult to try to get a hold of in our area. And that's something I wish we could work on a little bit, so it's easier to get notices like this out.
I did have one lady call and complain, and she was pretty angry, you know, started to apologize, and we must have missed your door, and. I said, wait a second, what was your address? And she said it again, like, you're not even on the system. Do you have a well? She's like, yeah, my own well, I'm like, yeah.
Does take all of me.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh,
The poor thing.
yeah. Oh, I'll be.
Really tested or well.
Oh.
Those things happen. But yeah, they were very good, and the Grant Construction, they were there. They were mobilized within an hour or so after Troy called us, so they were, I don't know what they'll charge, but they were very good at
I
responding.
think the one thing we missed is, because it was pretty much a leak, just like by your house, Jane. Given that was summer and not cold, so working conditions are a little bit better, but we didn't bring out Escanato's Vector truck. And I think from now on, we'll probably just have it on hand because the extra. I don't know, what do they charge for? The Vector truck, I don't remember.
I don't know.
I don't remember the Vector truck.
Are you
The
talking
big-
about the one by Jane's house?
Yeah, that leak by
Oh,
James.
it wasn't much.
Yeah, so I mean, paying that extra just to keep water at bay, I think. it's
Oh,
worth
like a,
it. Yeah,
got it.
yeah, the vacuum truck,
Mhm.
yeah. Cause I talked to Leah earlier in the day and I was like, hey, you know, is it available? He goes, yeah, but what time? Cause. It holds water, so it can only have it outside for so long, He's like, we'll just have to start it up a half hour. Before we bring it, I was like, yeah, that sounds good, and. Well, for a while, it looked like the grain was gonna get it, and then all of a sudden, just got dark, and it wasn't working, and. Alright, let's do this.
Yeah, move on, zoning administrator business, May. Zoning administrator.
We have to skip over that one.
So, Charlie, you.
I don't know if you want to cover it or you want me, so, yeah, I did turn in my resignation, due to a position change at work, so I'm no longer the environmental and tech services, I'm now in operations. So with that, I cannot guarantee I can make meetings or be able to meet folks at meetings and, stuff, so which is really important. Unfortunately, I had to turn in my resignation, so, I'm here to help. I will train whoever you guys hired. Again, if you have any questions from an IT perspective, when it comes to whatever you got going on there, more than happy to help. I'll train who's ever coming up. So, but, I kept myself on until the end of February. If you find someone sooner, I'm more than happy to leave early. Or if you need me to stay a little extra, I can do that too, but just. Unfortunately, with the role, I just cannot. I cannot in good conscience keep the position. So I just can't guarantee I can put in the hours.
Well, congrats on the promotion, Charlie.
Thank you.
We're gonna miss you. Any, ideas of who might be candidates to replace you?
I've been thinking and, Ray and I were talking, the gentleman from Escanaba just turned in his resignation, like zoning administrator, so. I don't know if you wanna do something out here temporary, I'll keep thinking, but I don't have anybody
I think he's the fellow that sent us the letter, he might not be a good.
Yeah.
I don't know, but, yeah, he made it. I need it.
Then you're gonna-
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we'll put ads out, I'll have to put one on the website, Facebook and daily press. And get ads out.
I begrudgingly make a motion to accept the zoning administrator's resignation.
I guess I'll support.
There you go, motion and support, any more discussion? If not,
We have to roll call.
we can roll call if somebody wants.
I
I don't know.
I don't think, John, have you?
don't know,
I-
guys tell me, I don't know.
No, James, I think you're good. I looked up because I didn't really know how that works. So I just recently, weird that this came up tonight. So our conflict of interest. Maybe I could just send it to you because I feel like. First of all, when you have a conflict, you have to declare what the conflict is. And when you, have a conflict, you can't even participate in the deliberations. But I think that sometimes we, as a board, all of us do it, declare a conflict when we really should be voting. Because it's our duty to vote if we can. If it's an absolute conflict, it's another story, but I think that we probably should all read that and maybe everybody interprets it differently. I don't know. But the way I've interpreted it, that there's things that we should be voting on that we're calling a conflict when they really aren't. So it's under 2.25 board meeting conflict of interest on the. Oh gee, I didn't copy the whole lot.
Just send it by email.
The side parts.
I like to err on the side of caution, right, and never risk a conflict, but.
And the reason I
I'd be
do a lot,
interested in reading it.
the reason I do a lot of the planning commissions, because I sit on the planning.
Yeah,
You know, I don't want to sound.
Yeah,
like,
but
I
you're
want
allowed
this guy
to
on the
vote.
board, I want this guy on the board, I want this guy, I don't want this one.
Where that comes into play is when you have to have a vote on a same subject in the planning
Yeah, I
commission.
know.
And-
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
But in this case, the planning commission doesn't vote on who we hire as zoning administrator, it's only the township
so you
board.
really don't have a conflict there.
do you see what I'm saying? I sit on the board, so I'd be sitting on the board with that person.
Right,
That's where I'm thinking I got the conflict, because
I
can
don't
say-
think you do, if you read this law, Jane, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. Is I think that you refrain from voting on some of the issues with the planning commission that you should be, because that's your right as a board member here is to vote here, as long as you don't have the same vote there. You really should be.
That,
I mean, I can see that you don't wanna vote when it comes to your sister or a relative, and I think that's great, we all do that. Or wages, that kind of thing, but when it comes to the planning commission and you voting, you really
Well,
read
if I
through
don't-
it, I'll send it to you.
yeah, if I don't vote on the planning commission, then I can vote here. But
If
I
it's
vote
the
on it,
same
then I-
vote.
right.
Right,
That I do,
Right.
I'm talking about. I'll check and see, because like I said, I just feel that, I guess like the thing that I like to err on the side of caution, otherwise I could say, I don't want this person on the planning commission, I don't want this person on the planning, you know what I mean, like, with me working.
Yeah.
That's what my
And
theory.
I guess it's, if you wanna abstain, go ahead and we can do
Yeah.
a roll
Oh,
call.
no, I'm fine to vote on this, I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure I was the pages.
yeah,
Because this isn't really something the
Right.
planning commission is gonna decide on.
Right.
and the planning commission doesn't decide whether or not somebody sits on the planning commission. That's pretty much Steve's recommendation.
Right.
And if you have an issue with that person, that would be the time you should say something instead of abstain.
Sounds like Charlie can't quit, cause we're not gonna.
Okay, fine then. Let's move on.
Okay, we had a motion and a second to accept his resignation letter. Is there any okay with it?
Yeah, she said she.
Yeah, okay, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, zoning update.
I'm gonna wrap the zoning and master plan together. So, literally today, I just got the, quote or the proposal from, QPAD to do the zoning. And if we wanna roll in, like the map, part of the update for the master plan, they have, prices in here. And I don't wanna say it in case we wanna bid it out, right? I don't want to just say it here, but there are two distinct, prices, which I'll go over. Planning information now that we have it, and we can make a decision which way we wanna go. We have two options of what we wanna do, so. I know which one I wanna do, but, I need to let the planning commission make that decision, so. That's really where we're at, like, cause the last meeting we spent. Meetings, we spent a lot of time with Ryan getting it all figured out. It took a little while, and then we had the last meeting and we figured out a few more options based on the questions he asked. So now we have an actual quote, so we'll figure out when we get the planning commission option. And if you still want me to bid it out, we can go through QPAD, they're significantly cheaper than anything we've seen from anybody else, so.
Okay, so we don't have to take any action tonight.
No.
The only thing I've got, Steve, in regards to Charlie's resignation is I'm wondering if that, we could, I know the trustees don't have keys to the building. And I'm wondering if Bob and I could get keys, especially with the, being on the commission secretary, I need to be able to have access, you know, to make copies and get here early and set things up. And I know we ran into trouble last summer when Charlie was sick, but.
Yeah,
Is
I
there
think,
anything in this policy that the trustees can't have?
It is an actual policy that the trustees can't have.
It is.
Yeah, I could go over history on that, but it's probably not relevant, but I'm where we can just discuss it and change it.
Okay, well, we're doing policies, we'll talk about that.
maybe we'll put it on the agenda for.
Okay,
And
I mean,
I think I know.
US secretary.
History, I think
Yeah.
I've heard a little history too, about how that came.
It was a former supervisor and two former trustees though, so. But
Sounds scandalous.
for my time.
Yep, oh, so, cause Charlie opens up for plan commission stuff, and you're the secretary, yeah.
And, you know, I don't know that I necessarily have a thing that I could.
yeah, but I don't, we'll dig up the former key policy.
Yeah.
Here's a question, the camera systems cover all the entrances 24/7, so if there was ever a question about who was in the building, it'd be really easy to figure that out.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's all cloud-based, so nobody can even try to steal a computer and erase it.
That's,
It won't work.
that might change things from the past.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, anything else under? Zoning administrator?
We're on to with the master plan. Is that done? Over?
Yeah.
History?
Well, unless they wanna go after the map.
He talked about that in his update.
I thought we were talking about zoning.
I rolled the two together. If they wanna go after the map, the state's happy, you have to update the master plan. But I'm not saying we are or we are not going to do that.
Let's see.
That is up to the planning commission to
I missed
decide.
that part. I thought we were talking about just zoning.
Yeah. That's
It
up
was,
to them to
it's
decide.
right next to this. All right.
You never listen to me anyway.
No,
Yeah.
that's fair enough. You're a man.
Anything else under zoning?
No, sir.
Administrator, okay, move on, county commissioner updates.
Yay. Oh,
Hello. Just a couple of things, and what I've heard here tonight, I'll definitely take to the county, let them know about your resignation, the position is available, so that we'll get it out to as many people as possible. I do wanna let you know that my phone number is the same as what Myra's phone number was, so it's 553-8174. Reach out to me anytime, phone or text. And you can reach me on the county's website too, they have a little thing set up. I did want to say thank you very much for the new website, I don't know
Oh, that was mostly Jane, yeah.
Yeah, the new website is great, and I did actually sign up for the announcements, and although none of the announcements have pertained to me yet, I still really enjoy getting them. Because it keeps me in the loop of what's going on, so, that's, I think, really nice. The county is opening up their master plan this year, so we are doing a master plan review, and I will make sure that Fort River Township's master plan feeds into the county's master plan. We're also doing the 5-year rec plan, so I'll make sure that O.B. Fuller Park, which is very important to Fort River Township residents, that they're involved in the process of developing projects for the 5-year rec plan relative to O.B. Fuller Park. Also, I was at the Escanaba Township meeting last week, and they are very interested in what you guys are doing around the 911 signs, around the emergency signs. So there was a lot of discussion about what Fort River Township was doing, and I thought, they know a lot more than I do, and I'm at the meetings, so I don't know what's going on, but they're very interested in collaborating on anything. So if you have people who are gonna be putting in posts or hanging signs or whatever, they're interested in sharing that, possibly sharing that responsibility, so.
He's right there, he's like,
Oh. They were very eager to know what Fort River Township was doing and wanting to get moving on that, so. And then last, I just wanna let you know, the airport is a high priority for us right now, and we have been in a lot of discussions working on solutions for the airport. And we will have something taken care of probably in this next week to sort of finalize what we're gonna do there, so. If you don't have any questions, I'll sit back down, otherwise I'll take any questions you might have. All right, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. We will move on to unfinished business. Item A, policy update.
Well, the policy is finally compiled. So what I thought I'd do is, send it out to each of you. I know that we have budgets coming up, so we'll be busy next month, so give it maybe 2 months, maybe in March, we can revisit and get it going from there. Now, just remember, I just compiled this. It's not my opinions, it's not my notes. I just compiled everyone's thoughts and put it together, but you definitely check for, spelling errors. First, send me, and if you wanna look at it, send me anything, your thoughts you have, I can compile that list, and I'll bring it to the March meeting, and we can go from there. But I finally did it. It's like a great American novel, I finally did it
Thanks
all.
for, taking that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Project, appreciate it.
And I will say now, if we're gonna look at the policy for the keys and see what it says, because that would be.
Yeah,
No, yeah, that'd be the time for.
I'll double check that when I get home and look at it.
Yeah,
And see what that says, and like I said, everyone take a couple months, look it over, take the time, let me know anything, and hopefully we'll have one in very short.
are you sending it in like a Word format?
Well, I was gonna ask you, you want me to get the drives, and I can just download it to, it's pretty big. I can download it to drives and
So if you put it on the drive, or you can email it to me and I can do it this way, if you share it with everybody as view and edit only, view and suggest only, then we can actually mark it up.
I will send it out to you then.
Okay.
I'll send it out to you and I'll put you in.
Yeah, I'll make a drive link that you guys can share out and you can mark your updates so that you don't have to look at 5 copies
Okay,
to compile one. Yeah,
I'll send it over to you when I'm done.
perfect. In a Word doc format or a drive link, either,
Okay.
not a PDF.
No,
Okay.
so it's in the review.
Yeah, perfect.
anything else under policies? No, we'll move on, playground update.
I had something
Oh,
on policy,
okay,
and I can't hear Jane that well, but she's gonna check to see if there's anything in there about keys, is that what you said?
yeah,
I just want, put my 2 cents worth in on that subject. I think the trustees always should have had access to this building. In looking at transparency with the public, it also has to be with the rest of the board. That they should have access to anything they want, anytime they want.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion,
It
it
was-
always has been.
It was a fun experience in like 2016 when it happened.
And I know last year when, we were out of town or something and they needed access to the building, I had to call Dennis.
Yeah.
Because
And
we
you
had
have
to have somebody
Right, my
here
deputy
that
has
was
keys
already
to-
authorized to be a keyhole.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so anyway, I just wanted my 2 cents worth that.
You know, we'll move on, playground update, our bids for the excavation workout part of it, are due January of 23rd. We do have one bidder, it sounds like at least, hopefully 2 that are going to be bidding, and we may have to call a special meeting. It depends on the timeline after this, so that we can, vote on the bid, and accept whichever bid decide to accept.
Get them while they're hot, yes.
Right, so that'll all play out, after I talk with, our contractor and everything, to see where this all lands, just so we get, if we do decide a bid looks good, we have to accept it before the timeline for the agreement runs out, so, and it may be too late for next month's meeting. Junk update, we have the trying property there, I know we have, lots of pictures from the neighbor. What's basically going on there is our township attorney sent them a notice that was approved by the court that they had to clean up the property. The notice is in the packet here too, that was sent to them. And it was certified to the court. Well, and they sent their response back. They did do some cleaning, and as the pictures will show, I mean, it would be up to the board, I guess, if they decide it's enough cleaning. There are also zoning issues that they didn't address. When you look at their response, they responded that everything was taken care of. That they removed or are in compliance now. But I know the zoning issues aren't. There's buildings on the property that permits were never granted to build. So I guess, why I'm bringing it to the board is, of course, our next step will have to involve the attorney again. And it's up to the board. If we wanna go further with this and get it cleaned up, we just have to bite the bullet and get the attorney involved again.
The ordinance seems to provide a lien mechanism for all of our costs. That would include attorney's fees, right? In other words, we don't have to recover it in court, we can lien the property for it.
Right. The only issue we have, of course, is we actually have the right, if you read the light ordinance. Once we get a court order that allows us, we can go in and actually hire someone, remove it, put a lien on the property for the cost of it. But as the law, is written, we have to get a court order to do that first.
And it doesn't sound like under the ordinance though, that we would need a court order to put attorney's fees on the taxes as a lien.
Well, that would be included in our expenses. It's written different than the zoning ordinance. It does allow us to recover whatever cost involved in cleaning up the property.
Well, the cost is already quite a bit.
Yeah, it is. Those attorney fees add up fast on those things.
I don't believe them to be in full compliance, and I think, again, just in fairness to the property owners who are complaining. And understandably so, I think I'd complain if I was next to it as well, so I think in fairness to them, we need to keep moving ahead.
I agree.
Yeah, and that was my thoughts on it, but I just want to make sure the board is on board with it.
Well, the neighbor also took it upon himself and his own money to take this guy to court and get an injunction against him about burning. 1 month later,
Yeah.
he's burning.
And they've shown no interest in really, trying to obey that, and that was actually, you went to court with them and won the injunction against them for burning, and they still burn, you know, that's kind of what we're dealing with.
Well, and they're also, I spoke with somebody that was involved in this today. And she told me that he was going to be moving his kiln and everything to the back property.
Well, they say you never got permits to put any of it there in the first place, the kiln. There's a storage shed, there's a lean till too that's built onto the original shed that none of it ever had permits to.
I think originally we voted on this to go through the lawyer and
Yeah.
start work, so I think we don't need to take any action, but I think we're all in agreement that we continue to move forward.
Yeah.
As
let's
originally
move
intended.
ahead.
Okay. Okay, we can move on, audit update.
Anything new there?
Why is that even?
Because they're trying to get a hold of the auditor
Oh,
and they can't.
Oh, I've given up.
yeah, I thought, I think
Okay.
last.
Yeah, he hasn't really responded.
All right.
So, but
I gave up.
I mean, we paid for this next coming up audit, and then I think if the board is interested, Steve may have to move into a new auditor if that's what the board needs to do.
and I probably would be their best course of action for the next audit, we'll start.
It does make.
Actually, I did notice.
So.
I noticed the city of Escanaba actually puts bids out for them. They have,
Maybe, just maybe, the questions that Bob has concerning the audit can be answered at the next audit. If he
Yeah,
gives
give
us
us
a
a
list of them, maybe. you
Or
can-
just show up, he'll be here for about 12 hours. You all have him covered.
There you go.
Yeah, so we can take this off for now, right, until we have.
Yeah,
the next
I
week.
don't think we need to keep revisiting it. Unless you.
Well, I can't take it off till the subject is closed.
We're closing this up.
Closing the subject, fine,
Call it closed.
alright.
and we will be getting another audit this year.
Because we agreed to do it every year.
Right, we agreed to do an annual one instead of semi-annual, so. Okay, item E, planning commission response to the city of Escanaba letter, planning commission writer response and all. or-
No, we left it alone. The only way
Okay,
we'll give them a response is if we open the master plan back up to make a change.
okay,
It is
Oh, I
what
thought
it
you
is.
said you were gonna,
Yeah, we talked, no,
okay.
I'm not doing anything until if we're gonna open it back up.
Sounds like something a quitter would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, take it off.
Take it off.
Okay,
If we open it back up, then I'll do something.
okay, item F, website training.
So, I put that on there because we have two people that we can send for website training. We already, agreed it would be Charles and Steve, but with Charles leaving and they haven't done the training yet. I'm gonna make a suggestion, totally up to the board what you guys wanna do. But Deanna said that she would maintain the website. Or the same rate pay that you got for your IT, is that IT stuff, well, that stuff too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, I mean, it's up to the board who they want the other person to be, but if you want Deanna to do it, she said she would totally do it.
Well, it wouldn't be necessarily maintaining the website, you'd just be coordinating, if you want a coordinator, and then if there's an emergency, to put something on. Because
Who would put it on the rest of the time?
Julie puts it on, you just send everything to Julie.
But I thought that was only good for a year or something.
It is, but we can re-up it. We can re-up it,
Yeah.
Steve uses her a lot, don't you?
Yeah, I use her a lot, and that's where, with this, water boil
Mhm.
thing came up,
Right.
is we didn't know until 7 PM that night, we had to put it out, well, she's been very good, I have nothing negative to say, I mean, she's really been responsive and good, but at that time of the night,
That's
an
right.
advisory should go out, and I had no way of getting it
Yeah,
till the
right.
next
So do we
morning.
pay
because-
for that service,
And
Jane?
we will be, and it's up to us, we will be, you know, when
It's
it
like
comes,
$400 a
it's
year?
like $400 a year, but believe me when I tell you, I think Steve will agree it's worth it. But that's why you
Oh, yeah.
have the training of the two people, so that when an emergency like that happens, one
Right.
of these two people will be able to put it on.
Right,
So
and
you're kind of like the backup.
yeah, because one thing she does do is like, I've sent her notices even like for, say, well, when we send a notice for hiring a new zoning administrator, she'll actually take it and play with it and make it a little more presentable.
She
on the
does, she works with a lot of
website.
townships.
Checks this.
And, So it's nice for that stuff, but like I say, in an emergency, you've gotta have at least 2 people trained to.
Yeah, and they've been offering to train it ever since the summer when they launched.
Yeah.
You guys have been, just been a matter of giving you guys the time to sit down with her, because that's been on the table since July.
Yeah,
I don't know, it doesn't matter to me who the other person is. If-
Oh, I don't
if
care, I
it's
just want to
Deanna.
make sure you knew it wasn't so much of maintaining as a
Right, just another
Or-
second person trained and able,
emergency.
yeah.
and the other thing in the back of my mind is if they ever significantly raise that price or
Right.
something, then we'd have the ability
Right.
to say no and take it over.
Do we need a vote on that, or are we just good with Deanna replacing Charlie on the training list?
Did we know that at the first?
Well, I don't know, let's go with, have Deanna and. That's fine, Deanna and Steve,
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty much, I guess we're agreement.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay, item G, address signs. When Dave and I were talking about it the other day, we have to have a method of identifying the driveways, and I talked with QPAD, and for $500, QPAD will make up a map for us that's similar. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the GIS map, the way it looks.
Every day.
That map will be similar to that, only it'll have all the address numbers right on the map, so whoever's putting the signposts in can just take the map with and read the addresses, and they'll all be correct and right on there.
I make a motion, we spend $500 on a map in order to get the signs properly put in for the address.
Support.
Hold on, I gotta write that down.
You could just play it back, maybe do it in a minute.
It is.
At 9 o'clock, Amanda motion sign.
Okay, we had motion and support, any more discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? Approved. New business, Dickinson County
Yeah.
prosecuting attorney.
You haven't voted on it. Oh.
I did send everybody emails on, she did invite us to go to the hearing. I had the date.
Today, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was today.
Yep.
And what this case is about is the check fraud case where they did, they arrested a couple of people involved with that when we lost that money with the check fraud, where they were whitewashing the checks and writing different amounts and different names in them, so the process has started, the trial's going, they're all gonna be charged with felonies and I had to fill out a victim statement that sent that to everybody too, about how would it affected the township, and so that's in the process, just so we all know.
Yeah, the victim impact statement that reflected my sentiments, I thought it was well done.
Did First Bank get to do, like, you guys are the actual victims, they.
That's a whole other department.
So the gal from the prosecuting attorney's office called,
Yeah.
making sure that we understood everything, and I said, I just gotta make sure that you're sending this to First Bank, because they're the actual victims.
They were out the money.
The only thing we were out was the cost of printing, ordering new checks.
Yeah.
And then all the stress involved in it, but no, she told me that First Bank, they've been cooperating with them all the way.
Yeah,
And this is just the one guy who, he took a plea.
Oh,
He's
okay.
pleading today.
But that restitution hopefully go
That will be
First
part
Bank.
of it, and.
And our $150.
And our $150, and then the second man who was up with 2 checks, hasn't pleaded yet. They haven't offered him to plea yet. And this one is also being charged with the third offense habitual offender. Yes, that's all.
God, they got them.
Not their first one.
Yeah.
No,
Budget workshop.
So anyway, it's moving along, and hopefully it'll deter someone else from trying something like that. Okay, item B, budget workshop. We gotta come up with a date, we're still in the budget.
You guys are gonna hate it.
That time of the year again.
Oh, so we need a budget workshop in February.
Yep,
Yeah,
and one in March, before our meeting. We need two.
Okay, so. I'm assuming we're gonna look at the week of the 17th, because we need time to do stuff, to put stuff together before this, or do you wanna do it the first week of February?
the February one, I think 17th would be,
17th is our meeting.
that's
The
our
week
meeting,
of, right.
yeah.
Only because I'm gone the week of the 10th, so either the week of the 3rd or the week of the 17th.
I think that'd be early enough that week to get started. Could be, the only Thursday is a bad, because that's Delta County Township Association, the 20th. But any other day, yeah, or no, that'd be.
It's the 3rd Thursday, yeah, that's just,
third.
am I in the wrong, no?
Yeah, any day but the 20th would work for me. So that leaves us the 18th, the 19th, and the 21st is Friday.
Or the 17th earlier.
And we could do it. just
So we could
before.
do it before the meeting on the 17th if we want. Can
Depends
you
on
make it
that.
earlier, Bob? If we were to-
I normally can, but I have to be down in Wisconsin, it's gonna be a little bit tight for getting that for the meeting.
How about Tuesday? Tuesday the 18th.
That works for me, how about everybody else?
Steve,
Yeah.
that's when we have online.
Oh, well, that'll be during the day or.
Yeah, 1 to 5.
Yeah, 1 to 5, so
Okay.
the meeting, if we schedule the meeting, later in the day, that'd work.
That would work.
Yeah,
The 18th for you, Bob?
18th is good, and I can do 6 o'clock on the 18th if we want, I can move it up a little bit.
6 o'clock on the 18th.
yeah, that'd be good, cause then I can just stay here, I'll be here till 5 with the board to review anyway.
Yeah, we do 6. No, we do 6:30.
Brian can't be here till 6:30, but that's okay. Well,
Okay,
it should be.
how long was that, 6:30? How about you, Troy? Well, your budget's different, well, that's water budget.
We don't really have a set budget.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to make,
Yeah.
but Brian, yeah. Dude, how about if we move it to 6:30 then?
Works for me.
Yeah, I don't care.
That would be my best to make it like that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what we said, February 18th at 6 o'clock.
So one thing, if you can't make it, Charlie, we can just get together and figure out what you might need for a budget.
Yeah, for that.
Yeah.
12 days, you're still here.
Yeah.
Better. Okay, people, me. 6:30.
Maybe you'll have somebody by then.
Yeah.
Shall we do it set the second one, or are we gonna wait a minute?
Let's look real quick. I think.
We need it preferably before our March 17th meeting. So that we can, so that I can have all the.
Yes,
General Appropriations Act and stuff all done by then. Steve will have it and we can put it in packets.
Yeah,
So we need to do it before the 12th.
be the 17th would be our March meeting.
Right.
Yeah, so we have to do it,
St. Patrick's Day,
yeah.
but I have to have the packets done on the 12th. I mean,
I can't do the 3rd, 5th, or 6th. Any other time in time.
so Tuesday the 4th,
is that,
I think that'd work for me if it works for everybody else.
okay, you know, that's only 2 weeks from the other one. Is that gonna be enough time for everybody to finalize their budgets?
yes.
Okay,
I say yes because I'll help Steve with the spreadsheet online
Yeah,
as a result of the first meeting, and then you should be good for it. Or, It's just a second budget hearing, it's not a real meeting, right?
Right,
It's where
Not
we,
hearing.
it'd be
it's
just
where
a
we,
budget workshop.
correct, but what I'm saying is from this, from.
Yeah, no,
That one to the other is only 2 weeks.
I know, but if Jane's busy that, week, then we got it, then we only have the 10 or 11, and that's not a lot of time for you to put the paperwork together.
I mean, the only thing that, if you want to do it on the 10th or 11th, we don't have to include it in the packets on the 12th. Everybody knows what's gonna be in it anyway, so we can just add it.
Let's do it on the 4th.
Okay,
I like,
6:30 again?
Do you know that far out ahead, Roger?
It's good with me.
6:30 work out for it.
Does that work for you, Bob?
let's just do 6:30 again, then it's not a different time and it won't mess it up. Okay,
Okay. Move on, border review training, like Judy was saying, we have border review, MTA sent out the notices. We can do online training, we'll have to set it up here at the hall, and we have 4 people, their early bird special is $100 each, and the only one, Andy Grant, may have to wait, and then the late one would be $125 to sign up for it.
I'll make a motion, we do up to $425 for border review training.
Support. Motion and support, any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Approved. And then I'll, Judy and I will get together with you, Debbie, so that we can make arrangements to get that paid for. And
Part of, public comment, can I, one thing I forgot to mention on my thing is the members account that we had is now closed out and, cashier's check was handed into the township, so we no longer have that. Not that we had that members anymore, so that is completely closed out. It was $369.79 that we had left in there. And, the prosecuting attorney said we could close that account, we didn't need to keep it open for nothing, so we closed it. That's been turned over.
okay. Okay, now we can move on to public comment.
Actually, I have one thing before you do that too.
So, okay,
You wanted me to help you build, what do you call it, what I do, right? Like a job description?
yeah,
So question for the board, I do a lot more than just zoning administration. Do you want me to build it with just zoning administration, or do you want it to build with the other stuff that I do as well?
Do a zone,
Give us all.
All right,
can you
separate them?
denote it like zoning administrator
Yep.
duties, supplemental responsibilities?
yep, I can do that,
Yeah.
no problem.
Do you have a job description from when you started, just so we have like a reference point is
No,
what it was?
I don't have it.
basically the zoning ordinance has a job,
Yeah, I'll just
basic
take
job
that.
description, yeah, the zoning ordinance, that's what we were going by.
Like everything these days, what happens, the longer.
Yeah, I think it should be more detailed than the ours. Anything else before we move on to public comment? If not, we'll open it to public comment. Russ?
Well, what's now from 1962 after all? I've been on the fire department since it started. This board is the least helpful board you've ever had to have the fire department. I mean, ever since we had that mishap with the money coming up missing, this board has been doing nothing but second guessing our chief over there. And cutting down everything that they do. I mean, I think it's time that the board starts working with the fire department, not that the fire department has to start working with the board. The only one up there that knows what's going on fires and stuff is Steve. The rest of you, if you wanna run the fire department, go take the training, get suited up and go to the fires and see what it's like out there.
Any other comments?
Oh.
Ring?
Yeah, I've got a couple things I'd like to add to check. Finish.
The website, I found where some of the minutes don't match what's on paper website, so I think that should have a comparison there. And also the signs, we have 22 miles of private roads. And to put them the way the ordinance is written, I'm not sure that that could happen. You may want to do some consideration on that. Thank you.
That's something we'll have to bring up with the county things. Any other public comment?
Yeah, because I forgot something during my report, I apologize. Escanaba Township is hosting, the citizen planner training, and I'm not sure anybody here is aware of it or not, but it's gonna be on site and in Escanaba Township Hall. And that's, the citizen planner training, so it'll be for all the planning commissioners. It's an excellent program, very, very well done. And it's, April 10th, 17th, and 24th, and then May 1st, 8th, and 15th. So there's 6 sessions. They're $125 for 6 sessions, so that's half price. And it's 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. for those 6 sessions. And you'd be a certified citizen planner once you complete that course. So it's an excellent opportunity, and it's really rare that it's in person. So take advantage of it.
Any other public comment?
Michigan
Not.
State.
We'll move on to board of comments. Ray, if I could get with you just so I know what your concerns about the private roads are, I can probably bring that up with the county sign committee.
I think it requires it on the right-hand side. Some of those roads are narrow. Some people plow snow in a pile on that side. Like myself, we live on a shared driveway also. And I have a sign on the right, on the left-hand side. And now, and I'm wondering why they couldn't use that same post. Just put the same sign on it. It'd be hard to see it on the right-hand side. I don't know how many more there are on private roads. I think with 22 miles, we've got quite a few
Yeah.
homes.
Another question I had asked was, just land, or does it have to actually have a physical address? So that was another thing that was asked. What if it's a camp? What if it's, just land?
The requirement is that, any with a building, any parcel with a building on it has to have an address. But if you have vacant land, you can request a sign. That we have 2 that request a sign on vacant property,
Okay.
but it's not necessary. The ordinance says any parcel with a building.
Okay.
Another board comment? If not,
I make a motion to adjourn.
support, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.